Jair Villas-Boas, and this is another video from my channel. I am Brazilian. Generally I make my videos in Portuguese, but this time I'm making video in English because this is a message for President Donald Trump. If he is able, I'm able to make this video reach him, that would be nice, but I hope at least it reaches some of their supporters. First of all, I must say that I am a Trump supporter. Even though I'm not American, I cannot vote in the United States election, but I supported Donald Trump and I become very happy with his election, and I really support his policies of free speech and secure borders. That are things that is much more important than the borders of the United States. Those actions have reflections all around the world, including in my own country. So that's why I support, and that's why I really become very happy with his election. Nevertheless, I must say that there are some acts of the president that I must criticize. And I make this video to show this to him. And maybe President becomes aware of what I'm saying. I hope he will step back. First of them is the name of the Gulf of Mexico. Yes, Mr. President, Gulf of Mexico. Let's be clear. There is a tradition that is held throughout the world that the first person that describes in a scientifically valid way something that has never been described before has the right to choose the name of this new thing. This is in every field of science, including cartography, which is the case of the Gulf. This Gulf was mapped in the 16th century by a Spanish navigator, and he decided to name the Gulf after the people Mexica that he found in the coast of this Gulf. And since he was the first guy that mapped it, put this in the map in a valid way, this tradition must be changing the name. Is not only a disrespect of this guy that made this work, but it's a disrespect to all this tradition. American scientists in the last years, they have discovered a great number of things, and they chose the name, and they have the right to. What do you think that if someone starts to change those names? I'll give just one example. There is a chemical element called californium that was discovered at the University of California, and the discoverer chose to name this new element californium after the university where he was first noticed and described. What if, for instance, a Russian scientist decided, no, let's change his name, let's call this Moscovium, for instance. We must keep this tradition. The first who make a valid scientific description should choose the name. In this case, the case of the Gulf, there was a Spanish navigator. He decided to name it after the Mexica people, and we must keep this name. But the most important, you said that this has already officially changed. Why it has officially changed, Mr. President? Because you said so in an interview? No, Mr. President, it's not like that. First, you don't have the authority to change the name of the Gulf. Why? Because there are at least 3 countries that have territorial waters inside the Gulf: United States, Mexico, and Cuba. But more than that, because the Gulf is so big, there is a part inside of the Gulf, far from the border, from the shores, that is international waters. Therefore, Mr. President, to change the name of the Gulf, you will need an international agreement. Not even if you pass a bill in the Congress, this will be enough to change the name of the Gulf. But the most important of all, suppose you succeed in changing the name. So now the Gulf is no longer named after the Mexica people, but instead it's named after Italian cartographer Amerigo Vespucci. What will be the profit for the United States or its people? What will be the gain? What will you gain with that? It's nothing. So, Mr. President, I'm sorry. It's stupid, just stupid, to make a case about the name of the Gulf. This is the one. The second is about this island, whose name I will not say as you say, because you created such a case because of the name of the Gulf, that I will call this island with the original name that Eric the Red gave to it, Greenland. Okay? You want to annex Greenland to the United States. Well, it's legitimate, but you make an offer to buy from Denmark, which it is its legitimate owner. It's legitimate. You can offer to buy it. However, if Denmark decides not to sell for whatever reason, and you threaten Denmark to force them to cede the island to the United States, I'm sorry, I cannot support that. I cannot support anyway. You make an offer, this is legitimate. They don't want, you respect it. And they'll tell you, I am astonished that you haven't think about it. If you are threatened to take over using your military force to take over the Greenland, well, if I was member of Denmark, the Danish government, I would try to make an agreement with Russia or China to put their bases there in order to defend Greenland from you. Is that what you want? Denmark is an ally. You should treat as an ally. We don't threat allies. I'm sorry, Mr. President, this is a great mistake. You want Greenland to increase your defense force against attacking. But if you continue to threaten Denmark because Denmark does not want to sell Greenland to you, you probably you'll have Chinese or Russian bases in Greenland pointed their weapons to America. This is what is likely to happen if you continue to threaten Denmark. There are other ways to do that. Propose some kind, if they don't want to sell, propose some kinds of agreements to put more bases there or to exploit the minerals that are there. But don't threaten Denmark. This will be, if you want to be known as a president that brought peace to the world, I'm sorry, Mr. President, that this is the wrong path. Threaten Denmark will not bring peace to the world. On the contrary, that is that might be a trigger to a new war. That's the video I want to say, Mr. President. Admit that this was errors. There is time for you to step back from that. I do support your policies, especially concerning the borders and the free speech. This is very important, And I support that, and I want to continue to support you, but I can't support that. I'm sorry. There is no way I will support that, Mr. President. Please step back from it. This is today's video.